Pivot means an awful lot of things. I think that in our personal lives, pivot can mean that things don't go exactly the way we planned and we need to take another route. And that feeds straight into business. As a business owner, boy, oh boy, your 30-page business plan that you wrote, the week, month, whatever it took before you started your business might need to be thrown out or edited a bit. And pivot happens and you go a different way.
Welcome to the show where we explore the who, what, where, how, and why of the extraordinary people who define our north of normal metro. I'm Conrad Fargo, and this is the Fargo Five. Today we have Heather Aal, owner of Aal Yours Consignment. Hello, Heather.
Hello.
So why don't you go ahead, give us your 30-second minute introduction, tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Heather Aal. My last name is Aal, A-A-L, Norwegian. Perfect for this side of the equator, right? I own a consignment boutique in South Fargo, about a block and a half south of Island Park, called Aal Yours. I chose the name because whether you're buying it or selling it, none of it belongs to me. It is all yours.
That's a great name for that. That's what I was thinking as I was coming up. How serendipitous with the name.
Right? Worked out.
But it is spelt the Norwegian way, 2 A's, 1 L. What is consignment? I don't know that people, that's a word maybe people hear, they don't know.
I agree. Basically, I sell other people's things for a living.
Yeah.
You bring it to me. You have 90 days on my floor. I do markdowns every 30 days. At the end of 90 days, if it doesn't sell, you're welcome to come back for it, or I'll put it to online auction. And you and I split net proceeds.
And so net proceeds isn't interesting. So if it's something, how do we calculate that? Like, how does that?
Smarter than the average bear you are. Yeah. Net proceed meaning if I paid auction fees, if I paid credit card fees, if I had to do some kind of marketing to get it out there.
So it's not about their costs; it's only about your costs. So they
basically. Right.
The net marketing costs. You're splitting the gross income from the item. So if I go out and buy something and bring it to you, I can't deduct the cost. It's got to be
correct.
Okay. So it's kind of like emptying out the garage
storage unit. Your mom passed, and you've got a house full of her cherished memories that you probably don't want. Bring them to me. I'll get them sold for you, and you'll get a little something on the backside of the sale.
And how long have you been doing that?
Almost 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what I like to open up with is what that's like for your day-to-day. Are you spending most of your time at the shop? Is it a shop?
It is a shop.
Can we come buy your items as well? So
Please.
It's not, yeah. But
Please.
I would imagine mostly you're selling on eBay and the like, or tell me more about.
So I have a little storefront. Try to keep it pretty cute in there, and a fabulous little shop cat so you can come and snuggle the kitty.
And where's that located? What part of town?
9th Avenue South, 615 9th Avenue South. So a block and a half south of Island Park.
Yeah, that's residential.
It is residential, nestled right in the Hawthorne Historic District, which is perfect because most of the items are antique or vintage.
Did there used to be another business there, a stained glass? Was that? Yeah, I know.
Correct.
I know the area pretty well.
Yep, it was a stained glass workshop for a lot of years.
And you're surrounded by houses there.
By houses, and I have an elementary school about a block away.
Do you also live there then, or?
I used to. I used to live really close to the shop.
Okay.
I don't live that way anymore, but.
So I think a lot of people have passed by that.
Absolutely.
And raised an eyebrow whenever you see something, because zoning is a whole thing, and that's kind of an outlier. Yeah. To have right in the middle of residential, and I think a lot of people maybe raise their eyebrows, but don't think to stop, because you don't want to stop in a residential and walk in.
Please do.
Yeah.
What's interesting about the building is it was originally the Island Park grocery store. Huh. So many, many, many years ago, it was a little bodega.
Island Park is where this town started, wasn't it? I think I was at Bonanzaville recently, and they've got a house over there, and it said originally it was at the top of Island Park or something. Correct. Along those lines.
Yep, there was a railroad that ran along 9th Avenue.
So it wasn't.
9th? Yep, it wasn't a street. It was actually a railroad there for a while.
I didn't know that. That's very cool.
It's a neat little area.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So what does my day-to-day look like? Well, it's ADD at its finest for sure. I end up with so many items. I probably have 400 to 600 items on the floor all the time.
Okay.
In about 1,000 square feet. Oof. So not a big area.
Yeah, so because it's a house that's converted. No, it's originally a grocery store.
It was always commercial.
It was always commercial. Mm-hmm. So you walk in there, and it's got to be just like paint the picture. Like if I close my eyes and want to imagine myself in it, it's a big, like a grocery store, but 1,000 square feet. So it's not that big.
Yeah, it's really just walls.
Yeah.
And then I fill it with the coolest stuff I can find.
All over on the shelf. So it'd probably be very similar to walking into a pawn shop almost, like as far as experientially.
Better. It's a boutique. It's much better.
You don't like being compared to a pawn shop?
No, not at all.
That's okay. That's okay. There's something on that, right? So I work really hard on my own branding because, we were talking about how like, oh, I'm not like other girls. I'm special little snowflake, right? But like at the end of the day, people go, oh yeah, Conrad, he's a realtor and a business consultant. Like I don't want, because I'm not like the other ones, but I am, in a sense, I say I'm a realtor. I have to say I'm a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Premier Properties. Got to say the whole thing when I say it. But I can't control how other people want to see it. Do a lot of people refer to it like in pawn shop, or is it boutique? Like maybe I'm just not the demographic for boutiques. So that's what I'm wondering, is the space in my head just doesn't have that item, or is that an uphill battle for you?
A lot of people call it a curiosity shop.
Oh, yeah. Hey, yeah.
Almost every time you walk in, it's going to be different depending on how often you come in, right?
Yeah.
But at least once a week, I've moved things around. I put new items on the floor every single day.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
It's constant turnover. It might be something that was in your grandma's house. It might be something that you remember growing up with. My favorite sound in the shop is when someone walks in and goes, then I know I'm onto something.
Yeah. Okay. And I can kind of get that, because it's not like, again, if you go to a pawn shop, it's going to be big, high dollar items usually that are easy to pawn, that are more liquid, right? They don't want interesting things. They want, oh, yep, I need a sledgehammer, and here's a sledgehammer. Oh, I need a piano, here's a piano, right? Whereas yours is a more curated. So you're like curating?
Very curated. Every item in the shop has been looked up and as researched as I can.
Sounds very labor intensive.
It is, but it's so much fun. I'm a history buff, so I like the history of it. Think vintage furniture, right? Home decor, no clothes. I try to keep clothes out of there unless they're really cool, like a Steiger wool cardigan.
Oh my God. Did you used to be located on University?
No.
Okay.
No. That was Antique Addictions. They were awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And they were, why did I walk into them? I think I was pitching them on some kind of online reselling services. Mm-hmm. This was 10 years ago. I walked in and they tried to sell me a really old vintage dress for my wife, who's like 5 foot tall. So she has a hard time finding clothes.
Yep. Cute.
But you don't have a lot of clothes.
No, I try to keep clothes out of there. You asked about how do I sell. Okay, so I have this storefront.
Yeah.
And then I use Etsy. Etsy gives me a market that we don't have in Fargo. So I get to say I'm an international seller because I ship all over the world. It's always interesting to see what ends up in the UK or what ends up in France or,
Yeah.
I use eBay only when things are super unique and really need to go to auction. eBay takes so much money from my consigners that I just have a tough time doing it.
More than Etsy? Because I heard Etsy has gotten more aggressive recently.
A little bit, but Etsy you can usually figure around 12% of the sale, where eBay is like 27%.
Oh, wow. Really? Yep. That much?
So eBay kills me. And then I use, at the end of that 90 days, if the owner doesn't come back for it, I use estatesales.org.
Yeah.
And seriously, if your listeners haven't learned about estatesales.org.
Estatesales.org.
Their checkbooks will hate me for mentioning it. But go on there, follow all of the companies in our area. You'll find in-person estate sales, online estate sales. It's so much fun. And I do online in-person pickup on estatesales.org.
My wife is always looking and always running around town. Neither she or I have jobs, so we move all around. We're both self-employed. And we go to the YMCA all the time. So you're like
You got to
right
pop down.
on the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, do you like that kind of foot traffic?
Love it.
That's
It's so much fun to have people pop in and
just swing in.
Yeah, whenever you want.
You got some new regulars on your hand,
Good.
actually, because
I like it.
I'm often in between. It's like the meeting ends at 4, and I need to pick up my kids at 4:30. What am I going to do for 30 minutes?
Come in and see me.
Come in and see you, because you're there every day. Like, what are the hours? That's got to, when it's just you.
Right.
That's got to be, because you're spending a lot of time. You're doing it all. It's just you and the cat.
Yeah, the cat's not super helpful.
Not a lot of upper body strength.
No opposable thumbs. She whines a lot. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, 10 to 5.
Okay.
Saturday, 10 to 2. I try to take Thursdays off.
Wow.
I try to take Sundays off.
Wow.
But on my sign, it says by chance. It does happen that I'm there sometimes. And if you need me, just text me or message me. I can be there.
And then you're there. You must be doing double duty while you're there, because how do you spend all that time to curate and research and receive?
Yeah.
Like, what's receivership like for you? Like, they're just bringing it straight to the shop and you hold it all in the back, or?
Interesting. So when I opened the shop, it was a refinishing shop. I refinished furniture and then did consignments.
Oh.
Okay. About a year and a half ago, my hand surgeon said, you need to be done with the refinishing. He took a bone out of my wrist. He tied my metacarpals together, blah,
Oof.
blah, blah. No more prolonged vibration in my hands. So no more sanding. So the back of the shop that used to be refinishing is now just kind of a hoard of other people's stuff.
Yeah.
I admit it.
Yeah.
I receive during the day.
You're a hoarder by proxy.
By proxy, right?
Yeah.
I start all consignments with send me some pictures. I absolutely won't do walk-in consignments. You walk in with a piece, no matter how cool it is, I'm going to be like, send me a picture. And when I have space, I'll bring it in. So I have lots of boxes of stuff to get through, which is fun. So I get there early in the morning and I do a couple hours before the shop is open. Sometimes I can get work done while the shop is open. Just depends on the day. But yeah, it's an ADD special.
Well, it definitely sounds interesting and almost unbelievable. I don't. It needs to. So you're mostly selling online. Are most of your sales coming from online, or is it walk-in traffic?
About 65% is walk-in traffic.
Wow.
About 10% is that estatesales.org auctions.
You must have some real regulars. Then.
I do.
I'm trying to imagine. Most people. Like the volume that people turn through to make ends meet sometimes can be surprising. Some people deal with more people than you realize. Like in real estate, most realtors deal with fewer people than you. Like, it doesn't take that many closings in a year.
Right.
Where we can give a lot of attention to just one person. But, how many people how many unique individuals are you seeing, like, in a month? Do you have a handle on it? Is it like 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people? Like, is it?
Maybe 100. Maybe 100, but you're right.
You know all their names, or there's a lot of people?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not always really great with names. I sure try.
Well, that's just you personally, then.
You're right.
Okay.
Right. But you hit the nail on the head, right? Unfortunately, my building is on the market. Consignments is a tough market. It's really hard, especially when you're splitting net proceeds. So let's say your item sells for $100 because you had a really great item.
Yeah.
Sold for $100. You made $48. Guess what? I probably made $40.
Yeah.
And I still have to pay a mortgage and all of the fixed costs and everything else that goes into it. So without the refinishing end of it, selling other people's things, it gets to be a struggle.
Yeah. The refinishing part of stuff. Have you heard of Rusty Galloway?
Rusty's one of my buddies.
Yeah. Previous guest of the show. He was on like 3 weeks ago. He does the lasering it off, and then he wants to put it back on. Okay.
Rusty and I sat for a couple of hours yesterday morning and worked on a chair and some fretwork for a customer. And I'm working on teaching him now you've gotten it clean, let's put a new finish down on it.
So I usually get here towards the end of the show, but I mean, since you already brought it up, buildings for sale, what is the future here? Like, are we going to move, or what?
I'm not 100% sure. I come out of the nonprofit sector.
Yeah.
My degrees are in that nonprofit world. I've worked in fundraising a lot, and I'll likely but I'll probably go back to that nonprofit sector.
Okay. Now, nonprofits, and we were talking a little bit before the show, and you said you wouldn't mind digging into. I mean, look, was it last week? I had Farm in the Dell on, and they work with disabled adults, and they're really cool. We didn't get to talk much about Farm in the Dell because we spent the whole time talking about his conversion from Presbyterian to Baptist because Christian denominations is also something I don't understand. So if you let me,
oh boy,
I'll stay here the whole hour. So
Okay.
let's. I do want to, because I want to hear more about how it is that you. Why you would even launch such a thing and what it was like launching it, where that idea came from. But since you talked about being the nonprofit, you said maybe you could share some insights because, look, I'm usually pretty good, at hitting the nail on the head and seeing the moving part and being like, oh, okay, so, you had an unsuccessful political career, but that showed you how to raise funds, and so then you turned that into a fundraising career. That was previous guest, and he's like, wow, nobody never told me that before. I see those moving parts, right? I can see that. But the nonprofit world itself, I don't get it. Like, obviously, there's a tax advantage, which, I mean, whatever. There's a million ways to save on taxes. So they're popular. They're huge in this town.
Huge.
As far as I've been able to understand, look, the kind of person who has the time and the energy to be a part of a nonprofit, whatever, clearly has means and resources. And so it's a networking filter kind of a thing is what I come from a very impoverished background. And like, again, I'm in real estate, as I've clawed my way up into the middle class, I've come to see how much wealth there is out there. Like, there are people who have resources, right?
Right.
And two, this is going to come off harsh, but I'm a harsh a-hole. How important a filtering mechanism is. There's a lot of losers in the world, and it's important to keep your distance from them. And so, like, because they'll come and they'll get their. A lot of the times, the reason somebody is in a difficult place in life is circumstances of their own making,
choices.
And disproportionately, people who are impoverished are of that type. I'm not saying that if you're poor, you deserve it. What I'm saying is that, like, if you don't, this is what I learned. This is my lived experience, is that if you don't find a way to keep that distance, their problems can consume your efforts in total.
Interesting.
In total.
Yeah.
That's been my, like, lived experience growing up, moving up. And so I see the value in that with nonprofits, in that it's like, okay, we're not going to have, is that at all, do I have the end of the stick, or you don't see it that way at all?
I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
Let's back up just a little bit. You have to think about the nonprofit that you're looking at too. Right.
Okay.
There are some really great nonprofits out there that do amazing work for people who find themselves in difficult situations that are not of their doing. Okay. So my last job was at Essentia Health, and I was working in the foundation at Essentia Health. Those folks, the people that we were helping, it was not their fault that their whatever daughter was born with a hole in their heart.
Sure.
Right. The monies that we raised were specifically for medical need. Awesome nonprofit. Filled a void in my heart. And I think that's where, when we kind of talked about it earlier, I think people are driven to nonprofit because there is a void. Because they have something in their past or something in their brain that says, I can do good with my talent.
See, and that's why, okay. So let's back up a little bit, because I think I may have come off in a way that'll make you think, who's this jerk? The way I try to look at things is in the most pessimistic and base way possible, because if you take a view that, like, here's all these terrible reasons, but that's okay because it works out okay, and then everything's good, and then good things happen on top of that, and then everything's good, you'll never be surprised. I'm constantly pleasantly surprised by the way things turn out. I'm never disappointed because of that negative outlook on things. But like what you articulated was the only conclusion I've come up with so far, which is that no, people just genuinely want to do a good thing. And I can't
I want to make a difference in the world.
And that's like that. I don't know. It's so selfless. And outside of my experience, interacting with people long term. Like generally people tend to act in a way that benefits them over time. Like I have not found people to be all that altruistic or sacrificial. Like people aren't doing things unless it actually benefits them.
It does benefit me. When I can bring money in that benefits someone else, it does benefit me. It fills that, I don't know, that warm fuzzy in my heart. Right? And now if you, I don't mean to switch gears back to the business, but if you look at what I'm doing, I'm basically doing the same thing. I am helping people, especially with estates, especially when you're in the chaos of death, get rid of some of the chaos, right? And I'm benefiting the estate. Do you see the correlation there? Is it just in my little noodle brain?
I see how you're useful to others by doing the consignment work because they have stuff that otherwise would not generate value, would not generate currency to themselves, would not give them money.
Right.
And then by interacting with you, they have money they would otherwise not have. But what I don't understand, because we have so many nonprofits in the area.
We do.
And Fargo especially is just like full of nonprofits. And my experience in the world and in reality is that things don't become popular or things don't propagate. There doesn't become so many of them unless there is some kind of financial or some kind of an incentive that naturally, other than altruism and good feelings, and what I'm hearing from you, and I mean, you have a whole degree in it.
I do.
And
a big one.
and maybe that is just my disconnect in that I have had such a rough and tumble series of misfortunate events throughout my whole life, and I just can't imagine. It's always been it's always, in every other instance, in every other thing, throughout my entire life, everything I look at, I can understand the incentives from an economic point of view. Mm-hmm. This directly financially benefits you, not just at all, because you say, well, I make money off of it, sure, but not just at all, but the golden question in economics is always compared to what, right? And so the reason you do A and not B is because A makes you more money than B, right? And so what is it, or how is it, or by what means is it that nonprofits in our market especially are a better means for wealth curation than other means? And why nonprofits over and over? Because all that and I have nonprofit people in here, and I try to get at it. I try to get at it all the time, and they always come back at me with, like you just said, is like, well, it solves this problem for these people, and that's nice for them, and it makes me feel good. Like, is it really just it makes me feel good? Yeah. And my dad's on the same page with you, right? He's like, you have so much to give and you're doing it for pennies. I'm like, yes, but look at all the good I'm doing and look at all the people I'm helping. And he's like, okay. Well, I'm not here. Look, I mean, we can do things that don't generate wealth. I mean, that's fine. It's good to do good things. My confusion is more how they're so popular, how there's so many of them. Because Fargo is just swimming in them. You can't. We got the Giving Hearts Day coming up, where it's a big deal. I think you go into other markets. I don't know, but from what I've been told, it's nothing like it is in our north of normal metro here, where we are just swimming in nonprofits, and I can't get my finger. Like, is it just Fargo people are just that much more generous and kind-hearted? Like, is it
Midwest nice?
Is it as simple as?
It could be as simple as. I think we also have an awful lot of well-meaning entrepreneurs that want to do something with their brains, and they can do it better than the other one is.
Yeah.
So when we look at what type of nonprofits are they? Do we have 15 that are all doing this one thing? Well, now we're just talking about business people who say, I can do this better than this one's doing it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? But if you're looking at the broad scope of 50 nonprofits and they're all doing different things, that's not the case in this town. We have 5, maybe 6 real targets for the nonprofit, and we have 10 or 15 doing the same.
Oh, really?
Kinds
what
of
would you?
things.
Yeah, and you probably have a broader perspective on it. What would you say are or how would you categorize them, or how would you?
Yeah, food insecurity would be one of them. Housing insecurity is one of them. Addiction.
Yeah.
Right. We have a lot of organizations in this town that deal with addiction, and we need them because they all do it a little differently.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that they're not important. I'm not saying it's not important to have 10 or 15 doing the same thing. But then your question becomes valid. Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why so many?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, but Aal Yours Consignment is not a nonprofit.
It's not a nonprofit.
It's not a nonprofit, although it's maybe less profitable than you wish it was.
Not for profit. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a nonprofit. It's not a thrift shop by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, and why not? I mean, have you with so much experience in it? Why not at least pivot in that direction? Pivot.
Pivot.
That's
Let's
the word.
bring that. It's the word of the day. That's probably something that I wouldn't delve too deep into.
Sure,
yeah.
that's
There's
fine.
reasons. But
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm left still trying to wrap my head, and maybe it's just because I am a bad person, and so
You
I
aren't
can't
a bad person.
and so I can't understand why people would do everything I do. I can clearly articulate exactly what the master plan behind the pulling of the strings, right? Most of them are networking. Like this show is just a thinly veiled networking, like just every guest. Now it's a person I know, right?
So let's go into therapy for a minute. And what in your past would drive you to be super analytical, a little pessimistic, and not particularly altruistic?
Well, I mean, I think I'm always been, I think that's going to be. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's nature versus nurture, right?
Right,
I think I'm
sure.
just naturally very an analytical person.
Yeah.
But what's led me to be so pessimistic is it's the theory that fits.
For you.
In every other circumstance, I'm able to see those moving parts and understand, like, okay, it benefits, and people do good things for selfish reasons, right? Like that's
Absolutely.
so I'm not saying you can't do good things and it be, profit. Profit is a sign that the two people in the interaction, at least on the micro scale, benefited, right? The reason there's profit is because I value this, you value the money less than I value the good. We make that exchange. The reason the profit exists is because we both value. The profit is a healthy sign of a valuable exchange, which is probably, I spent a lot of time studying economics, and economics makes sense to me. And I see most things through that lens. Yep. And the economics of nonprofits, I just.
And I'm a super optimistic rose-colored glasses kind of person. Ridiculously.
And what you must have had 2 parents who loved you very much.
Very much so. Absolutely.
That's usually a part of it. That's usually got something to do with it. Some kind of a pleasant upbringing. I think the kids call it privilege, and I think that's usually part of that story. I've come to discover, but again, articulating it can be.
Although there are a lot of nonprofit leaders who come out of really bad situations, and they're just dedicated to making sure that it doesn't
happen to somebody else,
they can prevent it best they can.
Well, look, and so I do work for a nonprofit, the West Central Minnesota SBDC, where those services are free to the people who receive them, and I just talk to people, hear their business ideas, and give them advice that can save them from wasting resources and ruining their life. And I love that. Right. And that's so in that way I can understand the mission, but I want to do it if I had other. I don't know. Okay. All right. Well, your
brain is going.
Yeah, you've opened a door for me, but I want to get the story of what it was like actually opening the consignment shop.
Oh boy.
So I want where did the idea to start it begin with? So you started at that place where you're at right now.
Correct.
Okay. And so did it begin with the store was for sale and you're like, I want to put a consignment shop there? No. It began with I'm going to do refinishing.
So My mom was into antiques and collecting glassware, collecting lots of stuff, right? So my mom is a collector, and she always had booths in antique malls and things like that. And when I ran away from Fargo after I graduated from high school, I went to Chicago, and I found a consignment shop that I knew something about the stuff that was in it and worked for her. And there was a guy there that did refinishing work, and he kind of took me under his wing and taught me what he knew. And that
In the consignment shop?
In this consignment shop in
Do those
Chicago
things
market.
normally go together, or that's just your...
It's a good feeder, right? Somebody comes in, they're looking for a piece of furniture. They've got something at home, but it's not the color they want. It's not the condition they want. Well, I also refinish, right?
Okay, I
so
see
it's a
that.
good feeder.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I learned how to refinish and lots of tips and tricks, and it became kind of my zen. I'd find things that were free, cheap, side of the road. I could fix them up, make them beautiful, right? I wasn't really reselling. I was putting them in my house. And then had some babies and got married and ended up in the Dallas market and worked in really high-end estate sales.
Okay.
And so I learned that side of things.
Yeah.
Nothing like a potato chip chair that sold for $12,000 in the late 90s.
Wow.
Right? High
What
end.
is that? What's a potato chip?
It's a bent birch wood chair.
Oh.
I don't remember the designer now.
So it's not made out of potato chips.
No, but it was the shape
I'm
of it.
uncultured, so you got to explain. I don't know anything. I don't
It was
leave
the
out.
shape of it that they called it the potato chip chair.
Oh, okay.
Ridiculously high end. But I had 3 kids. I was a single mom by that point, or after I left Dallas, and went back to school, got my degrees, was going to be a social worker.
Yeah.
Decided that that wasn't the right. My heart was too squishy, and realized that I can ask for money from anybody, and so I went into fundraising.
Yeah.
And worked for a number of nonprofits in town, Boys Girls Club. There was a nonprofit called Charism that I worked for a little while, and ended up at Essential Health. I skipped a big one. I worked for the Better Business Bureau here. I had the office here in town for a number of years. And
How are you landing all these positions? Like you're just the job is there
by
and
the grace of God.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
The jobs were out there, and it just
You
it
apply,
connected. And
you do okay.
Yep. And ended up at Essential Health Foundation. COVID hit, and was one of the 60% of the foundation that they released. And at this point, my parents are ready to move out of their home in St. Michael, Minnesota. And I'm looking through all my mom's stuff, and I thought, I'm going to do this. I want to do this. It took me 2 years to put it all together, write that blasted business plan. And please, entrepreneurs, write your business plan. Just do it. It's a pain. It takes a lot of work. Do the business plan. It will save you so much in the end.
And so were you getting funding? Like, were you getting a loan, or you just wrote the business plan for yourself?
I did. I used the SBA in town. I used SCORE in town.
Yeah.
I had been part of SCORE as Better Business Bureau. And I worked with SBDC in North Dakota, in Fargo, and was a member of the executive club, and had a couple of really great mentors in that organization that helped me kind of funnel through the weeds. And
you were working that while you were in the Essentia Foundation.
I was on unemployment at that point because it was COVID.
But you were before your unemployment. When did you join the Executives Club?
Oh, I had been executive club since Better Business Bureau days. So I had been there 5 or 6 years.
And you were working for the Better Business Bureau at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what is what is the Better Business Bureau up to these days? Like I think I've dealt with a few phone calls from them. So is that almost like a call center job at that time? Or
they're more sales now than they are anything else.
And
I was education here in Fargo.
Okay. And so what was it like working there?
It was awesome. I was teaching classes on scams and fraud, and helping people get
to other business owners or to
other business owners, consumers. Yep.
Okay.
Kids. We talked about online scams.
So this was like an institution in Fargo at the time.
It was. And it was a foundation side. It was a 501c3 of the 501c7.
And this is after you had gone back to school and received a degree in nonprofits. So that was a natural fit for you to be on the education.
Yep,
then COVID hits. You're on unemployment, but you had already been in the Executives Club.
Yes. Yep, for a number of years.
So so you kept up with that.
Yep. And then
when mom moves out, you say to yourself,
I want to do this.
And this was what you had seen in Chicago.
Yeah.
Like that, had that always been, like as long as I can remember, my dream has been to own a storage units in town here.
Okay.
It's impossible, and they don't go for sale. But I've always it's just like low key been in the back of my like. If you ask me, Conrad, what's your dream? I'm like, wow, but like it's not happening. I'm not making moves towards it. It's just like there. Was this kind of like that for you? Where just like ever since you worked there in Chicago, or?
I mean, it had always been in the back of my head. It was so much fun.
When you worked there in Chicago,
absolutely.
You were working there. You were like, I want to do this someday, some way, somehow.
I don't think it was quite like that.
Okay.
I mean, I remember sitting in the library in Naperville, Illinois, looking at microfiche to figure out what things were. That wasn't as much fun.
Okay. For the consignment shop. For
the consignment shop, right?
Okay.
Now we have Google Lens. It takes me 20 seconds to find what something is,
yeah.
right?
Because you need to identify everything.
Right, to curate it. And the consignment shop I was in was a warehouse. We took anything and everything. Not all of it was good quality. Not all of it was interesting. So I started formulating this business plan, and I had a very good friend who's a business owner in town say, I have a desk I want you to look at. And this is before it came together. This was like December. I hadn't found a building. I was just kind of putting the ideas together. I had pitched it to the exec club, and this was a member of the exec club. So I went over to his business. I looked at this desk, and it's a mahogany 1920s secretary. It has some hidden compartments, which makes it very interesting.
Cool, yeah.
And I opened the top drawer, and on the left-hand side, which is usually where the maker's mark is, there's a little brass plaque, and it reads something to the effect of that it was made by the Colonial Manufacturing Company for Henry Ford.
Wow.
So here we go with the research. And the story goes that Henry Ford went to the Smithsonian Institute for the opening of his exhibit. While he was there, he sees Henry Wadsworth Longfellow's writing desk, and he's a Longfellow fan. And he says to the Smithsonian, I would like this. And they're like, so we're not a furniture store, right? You can't buy stuff from the Smithsonian. But they agreed to allow him to have it professionally reproduced. He had 16 of them made. Here's one of them sitting in Fargo.
Huh.
And this business owner said, follow your dream. I want to consign this with you.
Wow.
And I went, I think the universe has spoken.
Wow.
And so off we went.
That was where you jumped off. Where did it become an idea? Because when you decided to start, when you were writing the business plan, obviously you were planning. Where did because if it didn't happen in Chicago while you were doing it, where did the spark hit that this could be my dream? Where was the idea conceived? Like when did it?
Probably when I looked at all of my parents' things and had talked to a number of friends who had parents' things. And I'm like, this doesn't exist in this town.
Yeah.
Why isn't there a furniture consignment shop?
Why can't I sell that? Yeah.
So now we have a niche that's not being filled.
And so your original idea was to broadly be with furniture, or is that still where you are? Yep. Or what do you mostly have in there?
Furniture and home decor.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And what's the typical price point?
Oh, boy.
They range.
So Harlan Gerger, who was one of my favorite mentors at the exec club, but he has passed since then. But he kept telling me, get away from the $5 and $10 items. Go to the $20 to $30 items. Go to the $50, $100 items.
Yeah.
So I have a Brasilia, Broyhill Brasilia. Mid-century modern is hot.
Oh, yeah.
Broyhill Brasilia dresser mirror, and its price point is $1,800, right?
Sure.
But I also have that Hershey Kiss trinket box for $5.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about those because it's my bread and butter, right? You want to be able to sell something to every person that walks through the door. That's basic business. But not everybody can afford an $1,800 Brasilia dresser or have room for it.
Yeah. So you say you get the one very expensive, the Henry Ford replica, right? So you get that in your hands. What is that? So they say, I want you to consign this. Let's make it happen. So what is that? But what does that mean? So then you just start soliciting it around town, or because you don't have a space for it at that point, right?
He held on to it until I had my my space.
Okay. So, but that was your impetus to go find a space.
Yep.
Okay. And how did you end up buying that? I mean, you're unemployed.
Well, right. So I rented it from him for a little while. So
really? Before it was, because it was for sale for.
It was for sale for a long time. And I told Paul, I can't buy it outright. I need to know that the business is going to run, but I'll rent it from you. Yeah. And we came to terms.
Yeah.
And so I rented it from him for a while until I knew the business was going to fly. And then I purchased it before interest rates went crazy.
Yeah. Okay. And so just straight from him. So it was almost like a contract for deed kind of a thing. I mean, that's pretty scrappy.
Yeah.
That's pretty scrappy.
Yeah.
How did you meet the owner of it, or why that building? How did that?
I lived on 9th Street.
Yeah.
And walked that area all the time.
Yeah.
And so I knew the building.
You knew the building.
And the minute I saw it, I was like, this is what I'm going to want. This is exactly what, and it was built precisely for what I needed. There's a spray booth. There's a big, huge basement. There's workshop area. It's perfect for that, the refinishing and consigning.
Absolutely.
Absolutely perfect. And it has been a fabulous chapter of my life.
Yeah. Well, and so that opens up. You've been doing that. You still have plenty of inventory, but the shop's for sale. Yeah. So, I mean, what is the I think I asked you, but I don't know if it didn't stick in the head. What's the future if you do sell the place?
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. How long has it been for sale? And
9 months maybe, but we put it on the market, and then the city of Fargo delightfully tore up the street and the sewers and the gas lines. So we have a brand new street and brand new curbs and brand new. But we were basically shut down for 3 months during the summer.
Yeah.
It was a very, very, very hard year for this business.
And it's being sold as a especially if it's like walk-in traffic. But the streets are all put together now.
It's perfect now.
And
yeah.
I mean, for sure you're going to see me again because I want to come see your stuff.
Good.
I like, as much as I am a uncultured Philistine, I enjoy those kinds of things. I also collect and curate a select number of, I like older stuff. There's something about it. What is it about older things that is just so, why do you think
it's
that is?
It's usually a memory.
Yeah.
It's usually something that.
But these are other people's stuff.
Yeah.
You still enjoy it.
Yeah.
What is the memory about it? Or what is it? I think, and it's somebody else's memory if I come by it.
But it's that it becomes your memory. So I had a really great consignor, 96 years old. And she was really struggling to get rid of a secretary, but she didn't have space in her new apartment for it. And I looked at Crystal and I said, honey, do you remember the joy when you found this? And she said, oh, I remember looking at it over and over and over in the antique shop. And finally I had enough money to buy it. And I said, do you remember the joy that it brought you while it was in your home? Oh, I just love the piece. I said, allow somebody else to have the joy. And she went, perfect. Let's do it. Right? So you're making a new memory with it. Yeah, it's somebody else's, but you can't find things like this anymore.
Yeah. They're unique.
They're unique. They're not built as well.
Yeah, they're made out of real things.
Absolutely.
Everything today, like I'm going to redo the floor in my new house, and they want to sell me on laminate. No. They want to sell me on engineered hardwood. No. I'm going to get real pieces of real wood and staple them down because it's real.
So there's a really interesting study if you want to go down a little rabbit hole with antique furniture, right? When you look at like the turn of the century oak items, and then the 1940s oak items, and then the 1980s oak items, what you're going to notice is the grain is getting wider and wider and wider, right? Because we're forcing things to grow. Plus, we have pesticides and blah, blah, blah in the atmosphere and all the scientific stuff that I try not to worry about, right? So if you can find wood from the 1900s and put it in, it's a lot more sturdy. Your homes that are built in the 1950s are a lot more sturdy than the homes that are built today.
Yeah.
Same with furniture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting little study.
Different, more solid wood.
Very much so.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope you don't sell anytime soon because you're
For
trying.
now, I just keep going. And really, the word of the day, pivot, right? I'm trying some new things. I bought a crucible so I can melt silver and gold.
Oh, that's neat.
So we'll see what that turns into.
Or copper? Could you melt copper?
I can melt just about anything in that thing.
Yeah.
We'll see what that turns into. I'm a creative soul, and if I can't refinish furniture, I need another outlet. So We'll see what happens.
I've always wanted to do. What? My God, we're just about done. This is. I don't know if you know. It's already 52 after.
Holy cow!
Yeah, it goes fast.
Yeah, it does.
It goes really fast. But tell me more about this crucible and what got that in your head, because I've always wanted. My name is Clink Hammer.
Right.
Blacksmithing.
Yep.
In my blood.
Yep.
I mean, I've always wanted to get into melting stuff.
I get so much broken jewelry.
Yeah.
And I get all of those 10 and 15 and 25-year-old pins from some defunct company. Nobody wants them.
Yeah.
Well, let's do something with them. So if I can melt them and reuse the metal, or melt them and sell the metal.
Yeah, just turn them into ingots.
Right?
I just melt them down.
How about those gold teeth that I've had in the building?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it came in a jewelry box, and I'm like, well, it's solid gold. It's dental gold, right? It's
that
good
ain't worth
stuff.
Nothing.
Until you melt it down. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I have some ideas, and if the building doesn't sell, I own it. I can do whatever I want with it. So I just keep going. If I could find somebody who wants to do consignments, I will coach you all the way through it.
Yeah, you'd love to sell the business. Yeah, sell the business.
I'd love to, but the business is me. I mean, realistically, it's my brain. It's my thought process. If somebody wants to do consignments, I would have them do it their way. I would ask them to write a business plan the same way I did.
Do you have the business itself for sale, or just the building, or both?
Just the building.
Just the building.
Yeah, I'm going to take my business with me. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Doesn't mean I can't do estate sales. It doesn't mean I can't keep on with online reselling. It just means that the reality of keeping the building going is expensive.
Yeah, and I've got some stuff I want you to sell for me. It's got to start with a pic. I can't show up with a thing.
You show up with a thing, I get cranky and it's ugly, and don't do that. Please send me pictures.
Yeah.
I don't need 15 pictures of a single item. Just send me a picture or two, and let me take a look at it. If I think we have market, we'll go from there.
In a second, we're going to plug, and so you can tell us how to find you, how to send you those pictures, for things like that. But first, I would like to ask about your song choice, For Good from Wicked, which I've never seen or heard. No, and I love musicals. I do love musicals so much.
What is wrong with you?
You know what? I got 3 children and 5 profit centers in the house.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Yeah, you are.
And when I have time to sit down and watch something, it's usually a rewatching of something I already know and love, because I can't really take the chance that it might not work out. Yeah, is it?
It's worth it.
Yeah, I do love musicals.
Yeah.
What I would like to do is find Jesus Christ Superstar. They were at Concordia, and I missed it. They were at Concordia recently, and I just totally missed it. I want to go watch that with my kids, because they'd love that. They love that musical.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it a bunch of times. But why that song? What?
Well, in personal and in business, right? The words of the song talk about, I might not meet you again, but because of you, I've been changed for good. So it feeds my nonprofit heart. It feeds my business that I'm doing. I lost 3 really great friends that were consigners this year, and I wasn't ready for it.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
And so every time the song comes on my Pandora, I have to stop and I have to listen to it. So it speaks to me as a human.
I have a similar relationship with other songs, but every time they come on, I don't stop and listen. I go forward as fast as possible so as not to feel that feeling. You instead have chosen to feel it and even bring it into the studio here at the very end.
Absolutely, let's do it.
There is there's something different between you and me, and I think off the air I would like to explore it more. You're an interesting person, so thank you so much for coming on. And why don't you please let everybody know how they can get a hold of you? It's called Plug-In. Go ahead, plug yourself.
Okay, so the building is at 615 9th Avenue South, block and a half south of Island Park. It's a red building in the middle of Hawthorne Historic District, so you're going to feel like you're in the wrong place, but you're in the right place. Street parking. If you have stuff that you want to sell, 701-630-8401 is my cell number. That's the best way to send me pictures.
That'll get straight to you. Just text you and say, hey.
Just text me and go, hey, I want to consign this. My email, consignfargo@gmail.com. Super easy.
Well, because how do you spell that? Consign.
Yep. CONSIGN FARGO. Facebook. Find me on Facebook.
Yeah.
You get to find Sally. Sally, the shop cat, is featured almost every day. I have an Instagram page. I have a TikTok page that I'm trying to build. And please watch the silly little videos and then come in and do a TikTok with me because they're funny. And Etsy. I have an Etsy page as well.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Final word on the nonprofit thing.
Oh, boy.
I mean, is it just the case that people who have been so blessed hope to pass those blessings forward? Is it as simple as that? Is it like just I mean,
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Then I don't.
I don't think it really has to do with the as much with the financial side as you think it does. I think it has to do with the way your brain is structured.
Through nature or nurture?
Yes.
Either, yeah.
Environment and genetics, both.
Yeah.
There's an interesting study on on adopted kiddos from different families coming together in one family, and how one turns one way and one turns the other. Yeah.
I'm interested to know you more. I'm excited to know you more, but we got to get out of here. So,
Awesome.
Of course, I'm Conrad Fargo. You can find me anywhere you type in Conrad and Fargo. If you put those two words together on any electronic device, you go to YouTube, you go to Spotify, you go to Amazon, you go to Google, you go anywhere. You take out an old typewriter from Aal Yours Consignment and you just type in Conrad Fargo. Boom. I magically appear. But no, seriously, like me, share me. I'm a millennial, so I require constant validation. Your likes, shares, and subscription numbers are that validation I require. Give it to me, please. I'm begging you. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Heather, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure.
We're going to listen to Wicked with For Good, and we'll see everybody next week. Goodbye.